Hi there. Welcome back to Talking Insights. I'm your host, Antonio, and today we turn our attention to a dimension of branding that is both universal and surprisingly underestimated: color. I'm joined by two guests, Wim Hamikers from 1-Inch Whale and Uyen Chant from the Bose Company. We have collaborated on a rigorous, science-driven approach to understanding how color shapes brand perception, product choice, and consumer behavior. This episode was recorded live at the Esomar Congress in Prague, and on this episode we explore why color remains one of the most powerful yet most subjective elements in design and branding. From the challenges of reducing personal bias in creative decisions to opportunities of applying color science across product design, marketing, and social media, we talk about practical insights for everyone that's shaping a brand in a hyper-visual, fast-scroll kind of world. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Welcome Wim and welcome Uyen. So I want to kind of start by asking, what made you start this whole project? What made you look into color and the color science and connect it with consumer insights and the whole industry?
Yes. So for Bose, we've always focused in on sort of innovation, features that would benefit consumers. But when it came to sort of colors, because people look at headphones as potentially an accessory and to express themselves, we were more on the conservative side. So we wanted to sort of expand that aspect of our product and sort of offer additional colors into the market. But we wanted to make sure that, when we're selecting colors, we're selecting the ones that would convey same image that we want people to perceive us as. So we want to make sure the colors also align with sort of the premium feel aspect of things, but also appeal to certain targets. So that's why we sort of focus in on doing additional research to better narrow down our color choices. And we turn to 1-Inch Whale because they have that expertise.
Right. And what was one of the most interesting findings from the whole project, from the whole research?
I would say for us was sometimes it wasn't surprising, but it was validating, right? As to what sort of the path that we were already looking at. And so having that validation sort of give us more, I would say, confidence in continuing down that path.
And how did the whole collaboration happen?
Well, I think we started collaborating, I think, at a moment that Bose was struggling with defining which colors to introduce because you have consumers who can say something about this color, but it's still a rationalization, basically, of what they think that they would buy, but they have difficulties to express what is unconsciously happening in the brain. And I think there was the question of how can we have some objective data, some subjectivity to the process that helps us understand what this color can mean and to what extent it really resonates with our brand identity, because Bose wants to be the same brands when introducing new colors. We don't want to go away from that or alienate from that. I think that was the start of the beginning of the work together with them to go to look at our predictive engine, which holds more than 10,000 color tonalities with each its own DNA, meaning, associations, to help down, okay, your brand stands for X, Y, Z. These colors can go with it, and these definitely will not destroy your brand, so to say, but it will not help your brand in the positioning and in the brand equity that is so important when people make choices for this category.
Yeah. I know that some of the people that are listening to this are probably thinking, but how can I apply this, and what's the best approach to apply this in my own company, in my own brand? So what's like the biggest opportunity that you see on using this whole different approach when creating these types of products?
Yeah. So like Vim has said, we wanted to remove the subjectivity aspect and be more objective. This is how, this is what consumers view these colors and the meanings behind them versus having, some executive saying, okay, give me some colors to choose and I'll pick the one I like. So we want to remove any possibility of that and have more science behind the process of selecting the colors.
So maybe to build on that, if you look at it from a broader perspective, I think what is really important, and I want to give as a takeaway for brands, is that there is a real underestimation of the power of color in our decision-making processes. The subjectivity doesn't help always. Brands are not always aware of the impact that just a tonality difference in colors can make for their brands, the impact on consumer behavior. So this is a shout out from me to brand owners that really get that right and objectify that. It's there. There are tons of scientific studies done over 100 years maybe about multisensory, sensory impact, visual impact, impact of colors. So we now should use that to our advantage and make just the impact of everything that you do in visual communication. This is of course product design, but visual colors happen everywhere, in the clothes. I'm wearing a small wet lips on my suit, and people are always instantly, it grabs the attention. So it is only small and still it does something with people, and it has kind of an empathy. It spreads love even if you want. So it is really powerful, and we have to understand that it's really something that has to fit and done right, and then you can have a very huge instant impact. I remember that Google once, they changed their advertising links with a little bit more gray in it, and they earned millions of dollars with it by doing it, just by changing slightly the color of this link, because it activated the brain much more than the color that was there before. So that's an important learning for me.
And these are like small changes on big things that actually make a big impact. But what about the other way around? Because we have social media nowadays. We have like the 3-second videos that the attention span is very short nowadays, or shorter than maybe it was. Can you also apply this to the digital parts of the whole branding, and to when you're doing like a video or the graphic design for a animation or something like that? Is that also something very important?
Absolutely. And we didn't do that work yet for you, but who knows? No, we have done that for a battery company, its own. It's former Panasonic, so there's a new battery brand, and we analyzed social media campaigns. And we just by adapting colors and tone of voices, well, the impact of the engagement, because you can measure digitally everything, went up significantly. So in fact, even if it's social media and it goes quick, and even then it's more important, because then you should activate people in a very short frame in a cluttered environment, because the young people, but also me, you scroll and it goes very fast, it happens very fast. And then it's even more important to have the right, not only colors, but semiotics in this short time frame to activate your brain and to get people stopped and click to your website or to whatever landing page you have behind this campaign.
It's a potential project in the works, potential collaboration again.
I mean, so I don't have examples of what we actually did, but some of the work that sort of the results came from was how people perceive the meanings behind the colors. That was useful for the team to pass on towards the sort of creative side to have as foundation to draw on. So when they say, hey, here are the colors, these are the meanings behind them, they can then choose which colors to use depending on the season. Let's say it's the fall and they'll decide to choose, okay, they want to have a certain feel for their ads or their marketing communication. They would then go to that sort of playbook and look at the sort of meanings behind each of those colors that we had selected for the palette that year, and they'll pull from that.
In fact, we did foundational work for you guys in the communication, marketing, the tone of voices and colors within the segments of both to help the marketing and communication to better narrow down and guide and brief agencies to create campaigns, for sure. I didn't forget that, but if you go a step further and you create that, then it's really also necessary to check and to just put it in the engine and look what is going and how you can still tweak it to be better with. Well, I think we all agree that colors are really difficult to choose, because there are 10,000 color tonalities, over 10,000 color tonalities. And secondly, it helps to have some objective meaning behind it and related to your brand and target groups or audience to just be much more performant towards them.
Yeah. I mean, I struggle every day to figure out which type of shirt I'm going to bring because of the colors. I can imagine on your position. So
we were advised what we should wear on the stage by one of our consultants.
I sent images of my outfit and she helped decide recommended which one I should wear.
And fits with.
And then we had some sort of like couldn't clash.
It couldn't clash because if you talk about the impact of colors and it has to be fit, well, we should fit as well.
Absolutely. I have my partner to do that. And she always tells me like, I don't like that sweater.
Well, that works as well.
Exactly. It's any type of feedback. Well, thank you so much for your time, for the conversation. As I said early, and I always say this on these types of episodes where I have like a personal drawn to these topics. And I think I could talk about this for another hour. It's a shame that we're at the same time in this conference and there's always so much to do and there's always something coming up and we have so limited time. But again, thank you so much for being here and for the conversation. I think it's very insightful and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks for having us.
And that's all for today, folks. Talking Insights is a production of Research World and Esomar, bringing you the stories, voices, and ideas shaping the insights community around the world. If you'd like to be featured in a future episode, share your story, or learn more about sponsoring opportunities, send us an email at podcast@esomar.org. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And join us next week for another great conversation. See ya.